What's going on, Falcon fans? It's your boy Ricondo coming back at you with another video. So today we're going to get into the keys to victory for these Atlanta Falcons going up against the Green Bay Packers on Sunday at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium. So this is going to be an exciting game. Two teams coming in feeling good after week one. You know, coming in 1-0. Can the Falcons go 2-0? Protect home field. Last year they went 6-3 at home. So if they can continue to do have success at home, our crowd continue to come in and give them that support that they need. Um, those are some of the things that we definitely gonna like this week. So the real quick rundown for today's show is definitely gonna be talk about the injury report for both teams, the Green Bay Packers and the Atlanta Falcons. Also, we're gonna talk about offense, defense, and special teams. And then I give you who I think definitely could be one of the breakout players for this game on the offense and the defensive side of the ball. So, guys, with that being said, if you haven't not already, go ahead and please subscribe to the channel. Please hit that notification bell so you know when I drop another video. Please hit the like button so I know you guys like hear I talk about. Then please share my video throughout the YouTube universe so more people can come in and hear me talk about. Yep, these Atlanta Falcons. So, guys, we get right into the injury report for the Atlanta Falcons, and we have some good news and not such good news for this team. It's Arthur Smith reported today that Cordell Patterson (CP) is back, and Jeff Okudah. We knew Jeff Okudah was close. I think he probably could have played last week. If you put the timetable in, it's been about 5.5 weeks since he went down. So we kind of figured it was going to be the second game or maybe the third game for Jeff Okudah to be back. If he have a full practice week, they feel good about him. I'm not saying he's going to play a complete game because you don't want to, ramp up a player up that fast, but he definitely should get some playing time. Hopefully, that's going to be a big, boost for this Atlanta Falcons secondary. His skill set, being able to be that man press corner on the side with AJ Terrell. I think a lot of Atlanta Falcons will do a little bit more, in the coverage from a coverage standpoint. I mean, Trey Flowers did not play bad last week, but he's really not built to play that man-to-man defense that I think Ron Nielsen wants to play on the outside with his cornerbacks. But I think Trey Flowers kind of fits better playing, in the middle, playing bigger guys like he playing safeties, playing tight ends and things like that. I think that's where he shines the most. But having Jeff Okudah come back, if he's able to come back, that's going to be really, really good for us. Of course, CP coming back, already adding to that dynamic duo in Bijan Robinson and Tyler Algier. Just imagine, like I said, going around in the fourth quarter when these guys start to get tired, and it's really going to be interesting to see um, what CP, how they implement him into the game this Sunday as well. Now, it is some upsetting news that we wasn't really, hearing about, didn't know anything about until today, and that's Troy Anderson came in feeling kind of funny yesterday. So they actually put him on concussion protocol. Now, lately when guys get in concussion protocol, usually they don't play that following week. They have to wait a week, and then they probably they'll miss a game, then come back the next week. That's usually how it's been going in recent times. It's important for player safeties and things like that. Like I said, we wasn't aware of trying. I can't remember a play where Troy Anderson hit his head or something like that. So, however, they're going to monitor it all week. But more to hear about Troy Anderson to see if he's going to go. If he's not going to go, I expect Nate Landman or Tay Davis, one of those guys, to fill that spot. We already talked about how that position is probably one of the weakest positions from a depth standpoint on the team. So we losing a guy like Troy Anderson, who led the team in tackles with 10 last week. We definitely want to make sure he's out there, but next man up mentality needs to be in place. Nate Landman and Tay Davis will probably take that spot, and we'll see how this defense adjusts. And hopefully, we'll find out more about Troy Anderson, in this week. Um, from the from the Green Bay Packers, I'm already skipping to week 3. From the Green Bay Packers standpoint, the only 3 guys is they had a list of guys with 3 guys that I really was wondering about for the Green Bay Packers that did not practice today. Be interested to see their practice status for the rest of the week. But Aaron Jones, a guy that really explosive, one of their better players on the team. We know somebody we definitely got to be prepared for, even if he don't show up don't practice all week. Still got to be prepared. Remember about Brian Burns, right? Guy that didn't practice but came out there and tried to wreck the game. So, but Aaron Jones, a guy, he pulled his hamstring. It looked like he pulled it on a big play in the Chicago Bears game. So it'd be interesting to see if he's able to go. That's the big deal. I have, pulled my hamstring before running. That's a bad injury to have. You don't want to make it worse. So it'll be interesting to see what they decide to do with Aaron Jones with his hamstring. Other 2 guys that could really be a factor for the Green Bay Packers this week is Quay Walker, one of their linebackers who had a pick 6 in the game. Former for Georgia Bulldog, really solid linebacker for the Green Bay Packers. He's in concussion protocol. Probably in the same boat with a guy like Troy Anderson. It depends on if they actually clear him this week. Like I said, in the past, recently, they have not been letting these guys play to the next week following that, going into concussion protocol. And then the last guy is Watson. Their probably their star receiver, their number 1 receiver, guy who can definitely take the top off. He's out with a hamstring as well, so it'd be interesting to see if both of those guys decide to, any of those 3 guys decide to go. A couple of more guys was limited this week, so we'll see. But either way, the Atlanta Falcons need to prepare for all these guys to be out there and prepare for the Green Bay Packers. You really going to play, prepare for certain players. Definitely guys like Aaron Jones, Watson, and Walker, but they need to prepare for those guys like they're going to play. So, guys, that's the injury report for both teams going into Wednesday practice. Sure, be lookout on for the next 2 days to see if any of those guys go. Right now, it seems like the Atlanta Falcons, from injury standpoint, is pretty good. That's good coming off the first game of the season, because sometimes you never know. We saw how Aaron Rodgers went down, and that's how quick your season can, end, guys. One of your main guys go down, and they kind of built that Jets team around Aaron Rodgers. So that's really, really, heartbreaking for that team, the fan base, and things like that. And good luck with Wilson. See how that's going to pan off. For this team, that team going on. So what's going on, Atlanta supporter? EQ said, are there any linebackers out there we can sign? Yes, Kyle Van Noy. If you go to 95 South and Smitty Smith, I was on their show last night. They talked about that Kyle Van Noy, guy that's out there still, guy that had 5 sacks, don't had like over 20 some sacks in the last 4 or 5 seasons. So a guy they definitely can bring in. Yes, he's been in the league 10 years, but you need that veteran presence anyway. So definitely a guy that we can definitely bring in. Maybe they want to consider and see if that's somebody they could, shake the tree on. Last year, he only had a contract about $2.5 million. Atlanta Falcons currently have about $11 million in cap space. So easy a guy to bring in, somebody with that experience. Of course, we know about Rashaan Evans. He's not off the market now. He got signed by the Philadelphia Eagles, so we can't go out and get him. But we'll see. We'll see if the Falcons decide to stay pat this week. It'll be really hard to bring in a guy, to learn the system anyway, in this week time. I got to remember, I think they got 1 linebacker on the practice squad. They definitely can elevate, but we'll see what Atlanta Falcons decide to go with the linebacker position. I just hope really Troy Anderson is going to be good because like we didn't hear anything about concussion. Maybe he just wasn't feeling good, and they decided to leave him out for this week. What's going on, Ron? Um, Happy Gary J is here. He will be tough on. Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, he's going to make. I mean, he keep mentioning that Jeff Okuda is a number 3 overall pick, so he gonna make Jeff Okuda live up to that, right? He's gonna coach him like that. I mean, he was when Jeff Okuda came out of college or Ohio State. He was one of the guys that most people were saying can't miss guy. Of course, he has not lived up to that. I think primarily because of the injuries and things like that. But if he can put it all together this year for this Atlanta Falcons with a great coach like Jerry Gray, um, I think it's going to pay dividends for our Atlanta Falcons because we know AJ is going to stay consistent how he has been. He's in the contract year. Jeff Okuda is in the. I love guys in contract years. I'm not going to even lie because those guys, they trying to go out and feed their families, man. That's what it is about. It's a job, it's a business, and they want to be the best. So they're gonna go out and they're gonna play ball this year. And you're right. I know Jerry Gray is definitely gonna be hard on Jeff Okuda because he has the potential to be one of the best corners in the league. Yeah, we definitely need a veteran, man. I agree with you 100%. This is a great point. You say you want to see D'Angelo Malone. That I agree with that. I didn't never really think about D'Angelo Malone. He's a guy definitely. I felt coming into this season because of his size, he could definitely be a guy that and his speed could play inside. Um, and that's a good point. So maybe they don't bring in another guy. They could utilize D'Angelo Malone. Don't know how much snaps he got playing inside like that. But however, I do think D'Angelo Malone and Armor Ebiketie needs more run, right? We picked those guys, draft, especially a guy like Armor Ebiketie, second year, second round pick. He needs more run. We know we got Bud Dupree there, but Armor Ebiketie need to be out there more, see what to start to develop because he's going to be hopefully our long term guy trying to be one of those most dominant pass rushers. So let's get more run out of him. And yes, D'Angelo Malone as well. AJ is going to get the pixie. He wanted bad. If you look at his mic'd up, man, I think the Jesse Bates effect is these guys want turnovers. And I think Jesse Bates is it's like get contagious when you start talking about turnovers. That's what happens. And especially when the secondary like that, those guys playing aggressive, you know, and they mentioned the stat that Bryce Young didn't throw a pass over 15 yards this past Sunday. And the reason why because it's sticky coverage, and that's how we talk about when the pass rush and the coverage, plays together because you don't have time to let the guy those guys get downfield and develop right. And they we seen it all training camp. The sticky coverage that they had on our receivers, um, and it's the same here. One thing about the Green Bay Packers, they got a young receiving core, so our cornerbacks, our secondary, hopefully with the tutelage of Jerry Gray, who was with the Green Bay Packers last year, can kind of school those guys up to take advantage of those young receivers that the Green Bay Packers have. You say you just use everyone. Yep. I mean, you just got to fill in the void. We'll see who'll be active in that. Do we know Tay Davis probably be active? Based off because special teams always play a factor as well. And then I think Nate Landman probably get the start though if Carl Anderson can't go. Did I watch the YouTube video where Junior 24 Mike? Yes, I did, man. Yeah, he was hype. He I mean, I liked everything about it. You can tell like what I seen from that video and just listening to him talk and listen to the teams, their confidence is really, really high. They know how good they can be as a defense. They know how good they can be as a secondary, and they just send back. Like I said, I think the addition of Jesse Bates is really going to help this team out a lot, especially in that secondary room. I thought, a guy that we didn't talk about a lot is Richie Grant. I thought he played really well for us. Playing that run game, coming downhill. We saw the hit he put on Adam Thielen. So, um, secondary just played lights out, man. They really did for us. What should Ryan Nielsen do with Trey Flowers? Like I said, I think Trey Flowers, and if you see how he was utilizing his other stops where he were, they actually played him more like on tight ends and big receivers and things like that. I think that's where he's more um useful. You have to play players to their strength, right? Um, I thought he got burned a couple of times in that with the Carolina game, but Bryce Young just didn't have time. He kind of overthrew him, which was really, shocking because Bryce Young used an accurate quarterback, usually put that ball on money. But, he couldn't set his feet, didn't have time. The pass rush was getting there. But, I think Trey Flowers, I think I counted twice that he let the receiver get behind him, and that's not a good thing. So that's not his strength though. He's not a man to man corner, more in the zone if you're gonna play Trey Flowers. But I really believe that what Ryan Nielsen and Jerry Gray wants to do is play that man to man, make it tough um, to be able for the receivers to get the ball. And if we do that, that pass rush can get home, right? And I hate to mention this team, but if you look at what the New Orleans Aints, how they played, um, that's why we always call Lattimore touch and grab because he always playing that tight coverage, and he makes the quarterback holds the ball because you know, you have to let the play develop for your receiver to get open when you playing tight coverage like that. I want to see Drake and Kyle be in the mix in the game. I'm about to go with offensive keys right now, man. And don't worry, I will definitely mention both of those guys. Hope Lindstrom doesn't get his knees buckled defensive line. You know what? Out of all the plays, all the things that happened on Sunday, I think that was the most surprising to me. The fact that Chris Lindstrom looked so inept, man. I mean, if every game last year, Chris Lindstrom was graded in the 90s. Every game last year, he only had one holding penalty the whole year, and he just didn't look. He didn't look the part. Yes. I mean, granted, he was going up against a really, really good defensive tackle, Derrick Brown. I think Derrick Brown is underrated. They don't give him, the respect that he deserves. But that guy is a monster as well. But I never seen Chris Lindstrom, get manhandled like that. And I agree with you 100%. That was not a good look for Chris Lindstrom. All right, guys, let's get into the offensive keys for today. Um, so just analyzing the game that we just had, and you can't overreact either way on week one. If you look around the league and see it was some bad football, all around for a lot of teams, right? Um, from an offensive standpoint, it was a bad football for the Atlanta Falcons. Of course, we won the game. We made plays we needed to. We was 3 for 3 in the red zone. We took advantage of all the turnovers, things like that. But from an offensive standpoint, the Atlanta Falcons were just not in rhythm at all. Pretty much for the game, um, they made it happen. A win is a win, but they have to do better. So my first key on offense this week, and which was a huge stat for the Atlanta Falcons um, this past week, was third down conversion. The Atlanta Falcons was 2 for 10 on third down. They only ran 48 plays in the game. Another team ran 72. So the first key for me for the offensive side of the ball is definitely we have to be convert third downs. All right, now to put it in context, first and second down was really bad for the Atlanta Falcons as well. So We got to do better on first and second down, so we won't get into those third and long situation, obvious passing downs and things like that. But the my first key is definitely they have to be able to be better on third down, and if they do that, um, we can get in rhythm. You have to get first downs, right? So that's what we want the Atlanta Falcons to do. Be able to um, start to get third down, so they can create their rhythm that they need. So we can start to see this offense take, the shape that we all think it can take. I mean, there's got too many weapons on this offense for the Atlanta Falcons not to be um, one of the most explosive teams in the league. So third down is definitely my first key. Um, it has to be. They have to do better. 2 for 10, 20% on third down. Um, if you just see that on the stat sheet, and if you look at the time possession, you look at how many plays we had, you be like, how did they win, right? And of course, we know it's the turnovers, the red zone, um, percentages, and things like that. So we took advantage of our opportunities, which was really good on offense, but um, third down was really not good for us. My second key on offense this week is definitely better pass protection for our young quarterback, Desmond Ritter. We just talked about Chris Lindstrom, um, the way he played. I think the saddest part about our offensive line, Matt Bergeron had a better game than some of our veteran guys, and it was his first game. If you can go back 2 seasons ago when you saw Jalen Mayfield, how he got baptized against the Philadelphia Eagles, and then you look at what Matt Bergeron was able to do in his first start as Atlanta Falcon at that left guard position, he played well. Um, we just need the veteran guys, the guys that we expect to play better, to actually step up. So I expect Chris Lindstrom to definitely have a bounce back game. Caleb McGarry, you just got paid, bro. Do not revert back to your old ways. Um, so pass protection is going to be huge. Green Bay Packer um, front seven is just as good as the Carolina Panthers front seven. So that's really going to be a big key for us. Um, we want to be make sure that we able to pass protect for our young quarterback. Got to remember, Desmond Ritter is only played 5 games, guys. So he's still young, man. You gotta let him grow, let him develop, but he needs time, right? Um, I was at the game, and I started to count a couple of times just how long he had, and sometimes he only had like 2 seconds to get rid of the ball. I mean, that's a hot read. That's Tom Brady lane, all the option routes, short routes, and things like that. We got weapons, guys that can take advantage of mismatch. We need to be able to get them the ball. So um, we got to be able to pass protect. So my second key for the offensive side of the ball is definitely pass protection. And then the third key, I think Atlanta supporter mentioned it earlier, is the fact that, and I'm going to keep harping on this, and I'm not the only one. I mean, if you look around the just national media, anybody, if you take a guy number 4 overall, and then you come back and you take another guy number 8 overall, they have to be involved in the game. It's just that simple, right? I love the way you got Bijan involved, and I like the running game. I understand all that, but you cannot draft a guy that most people said was probably the best tight end prospect, you know, and go back all the way back to guys like nobody know how good Antonio Gates and Tony Gonzalez and Travis Kelce and all those guys were, but when you be drafted the highest tight end drafted in NFL history, you have to be able to touch the ball. He's back. We've seen what he's able to do. Even on some passes where Desmond Ritter didn't have time and got sacked, Kyle Pitts beat his man in coverage. He has to be able to touch the ball. So my third key this week for an offense, you have to get Kyle Pitts and Drake London involved into this offense. It just makes Bijan Robinson and Tyler Algier that more dangerous. So you have to be able to involve those guys. I mean, Arthur Smith, I understand it's all about the win. If you don't care about fantasy football, all this stuff, I'm tracking that. But you have two really really talented players on your team, and you're not taking advantage of that to make your offense be even more explosive than it is. So I'm going to, give you a mulligan for what happened, transpired against the Carolina Panthers because I saw the game. Desmond Ritter just didn't have time, to get that balance that we need from the passing game. But Drake London and Kyle Pitts need to be involved in the game. That should be one of your game plans. I'm not putting your offensive game plan together, but if you're not, you know, keying in, one of the key factors for this game is I got to get my two top 10 draft picks involved in the game. You're doing your offense a disservice, and you're doing, those guys a disservice as well. So those are my three keys, guys, to for the offensive side of the ball. And if we can do that, um, this offense, you know, can be really really dangerous. It really can. I mean, just listen to the weapons. You just listen to what the Atlanta Falcons have from a weapon standpoint. It's really ridiculous. They got one of the best arsenal offenses in the league, man. Drake London, Kyle Pitts, B. John Robinson, Tyler Algier, Carter Patterson, Jonnu Smith, Mac Hollins looked good. You have the weapons. You got to open up the game. And personally, I'll spread out that defense. I'll spread them out, right? You spread them guys out. Go three wide sometimes. You got to be able to utilize your weapons, man. If you don't, you're doing your offense a disservice. Get off my soapbox, but those are my three keys. Let's see here. What should Atlanta do? The Falcons do to win their next game. Get into that. As a team, this past game is lesson of all. O-line, get together. Who we has the center needs to be helped. That kid on that. I actually Drew Dalman played pretty good on Sunday. Believe it or not, Drew Dalman was not the problem. The problem was our right side. It was Christian Lindstrom and Caleb McGarry. More Caleb McGarry than anything, but it wasn't good. I'll keep Kyle Pitts at wide receiver. I agree, man. I agree, but believe it or not, if you put him at tight end, it's even more of a mismatch at tight end. He has the ability to 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 wreck games, man. We seen it his first year. You go back to that 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 Miami game. Go back to the Jets game. Go back to the Buffalo game before he pulled his hammy in the snow. He go back to the San Francisco game. He has the ability to be explosive. They got to be able to utilize Kyle Pitts. Drake London and Kyle Pitts would be dangerous. One one next Mac Hollins and the other one two Scotty Miller. Yeah, I mean just listen to the you called all our pass catcher and you didn't even you know talk about the two guys that dominate the game on Sunday and Bijan and Tyler. I mean it's just they got the weapons, guys. I know a lot of people going to put it on the quarterback, but I can tell you it was not the quarterback fault why we couldn't get the passing game going on Sunday. That's what I've been saying. Arthur Smith, you got to open his playbook. He 100% has to open the playbook. It's no other way to say this, man. He has the weapons. Arthur Smith has the weapons to actually to to pass like a Cincinnati. He can do that. He has the ability to do that. I understand the run game, and they're done. They're dominant in the run game. So I'm not saying abandon the run, but you have weapons, man. You got to take advantage of it. Offensive line has to pass protect better. That was my number one. That was my second key on the offensive side of the ball. That has to pass better. Both high paid offensive linemen played bad. Exactly. They really did. And the craziest thing about those two guys, and Lindstrom and McGarry, is the fact that Green Bay Packers defensive line is just as good. So it's like not like they're gonna get a week off. And then the week after that, you got Hutchinson coming in. Those guys, going to Detroit. That's not going to be hard. So this offensive line, for its pass protection, it's going to be tested. And then the week after that, we got Jacksonville, overseas. So we got to play better. It's no way um we can afford to have a performance like we had on Sunday from offensive line standpoint. On way our wide receiver one and the top tight best tight ends in the NFL only have 3 targets. I can't even argue, man. Like I said, the only good thing about that game we won, and I can't take away what Bijan and Tyler Algier was able to do. That was that was dynamic from both of those guys. So I'm not taking nothing away from our two-headed monster that we got. Those guys gonna be special all year. I kind of feel bad for secondaries because both of those guys are big and they're gonna punish guys um, down the field. So I'm not even taking anything away from what Tyler and Bijan did. But my point is that Kyle Pitts and Drake London. If you want to get anybody else involved, I'm cool with that. But those two guys need to be. Um, and I always go back to Kyle Shanahan when he was Julio centric. He was probably too Julio centric, right? I think every play that he called, the first read probably was Julio Jones, for Matt Ryan, right? But the problem was every time he called it, Julio was open, right? So, that's why Julio got so many targets. But Arthur Smith need to be the same way. When you call a pass play, the first read it's either Kyle Pitts or it's Drake London. It's just that simple. One of those guys got to be your first read on the play, and I think 9 times out of 10, unless they double bracketing those guys, one of those guys going to be open. So you got to be able to take advantage of it. You said there's where they got to know how to move out the way and stay on one spot. Yes, but I believe if you go back and look at that game, this is another thing was interesting about Arthur Smith's game plan. He didn't call a lot of bootlegs. He didn't move. He didn't call plays to get Desiree outside the pocket to utilize his athletic ability. So like I said, I didn't think it was a good call game. I think maybe they thought Carolina was going to do something different. The good thing about this game, though, we're going to stop because we did get the win. A good thing about the game is the fact that Arthur Smith was able to figure out how to scheme up enough plays to win the game. Right? You have to take your hat off to that. The pass protection wasn't working. Brian Burns really that first half, and this how they kind of figured something out because the first half they had 4 sacks, 7 quarterback hits. The second half they have any of that. So they made adjustments at halftime, came back out, and they played better. But the offense, never really got in the rhythm, and that's just what it really boiled down to. So you're 100% right. There's where I think Arthur Smith need to start calling some bootlegs. You got to get him outside the pocket, use the athletic ability. He runs a 4.5, man, almost a 4.4. So you got to be able to let him utilize his athletic ability to get outside the pocket. Cordell Patterson is a joker on the team. He should play anywhere. Yeah, I'm really interested to see how they're going to utilize Cordell, man. Because honestly, I don't want them to take any touches away from Bijan and Tyler. But Cordell Patterson needs to be in the game plan as well. I know it's early, but Bijan and Tyler, Bijan is Robin and Tyler is Batman. Yeah, I just think that I think they Batman to Batman or Batman to Superman, man, because it's just different. It's just different the way they run the ball. But they both look dominant. I mean, Tyler just gonna run you over. and Bijan just gonna make you look silly. So um, I just like that dynamic because it's different styles. They both big backs, and they both run with angry intentions. I kind of like what Bijan described. When he was doing the press conference, he was like, they turn into anime. Kind of like they go Super Saiyan when they get the ball. I kind of like that description because those guys run hard and they nice guys, but when they get that ball, they don't play. I hate to keep saying it because I know he's with San Fran now, but if we had Kyle Shanahan, he would have a fit. Oh my gosh. Oh man, can you imagine? Can you imagine? The crazy thing about it, I just I want to see Arthur Smith in this offense because if I go back to saying this because his 2 years as offensive coordinator with Tennessee, he had the number one offense and the number two offense in those 2 seasons. So he does have the capability of having a good game plan, and he has better talent with these Atlanta Falcons. So he didn't have this talent, the first 2 seasons. So like I said, we're gonna give him a break on this first game. You know, didn't know what to expect from the Carolina Panthers, new coaching staff, new defensive coordinator. We'll see what happens. But you got enough film on the Green Bay Packers. They've been having this defense coordinator for a while, so you should hopefully you call a whole, you know, a totally different, better game this upcoming week. So it's only one game. Chill. We chilling. I agree with you. That's why I said I'm giving them a break. I agree with you. I agree. I'm not. You know, not going to make it a big deal at this point. But we got the win. So I had victory Monday, so I'm not upset. I just want to see it improve. I said we signed Uncle Steve to improve our offensive line. We need veteran leadership. There you go. You need to bring somebody in. Bring somebody in to fix that line. I think this guys. I just hope that it was preseason game 4 in that first half, and then they got all that out the way. Arthur Smith can't do his job out here chucking cheese at her. He's gonna get it, man. He's gonna get it. He's gonna get it. Week 1 on why we show our show. Yep. See, you always have to have the voice of reason, and I appreciate Alexander 36641 giving us all the voice of reason. It's only week 1. We don't need to overreact off week 1, guys. He's 100% correct. Do not overreact. Either way. Because the Dallas Cowboy fans, they already buying all the tickets for the Super Bowl because they blew out the New York Giants. But we don't need to overreact over week 1. That is correct. Atlanta Games Porter, and he would have us scoring 30 to 40. yeah, man. Kyle Shanahan, he's an awesome play caller, man. Just don't let him coach in the Super Bowl because he's gonna mess it up. Let's go into the defensive keys, guys. Before I get into some more of your comments here. So defensive keys. I actually like what the Atlanta Falcons did from a defense standpoint, except one stat. So that's why my first stat, my first key, this week for defense is the run game. We actually did not play the run as well as I thought we was going to play. We gave up 154 yards. That is way too much, in the run game for our defense. What this defense wants to do, and if they can do this, this is where they can potentially be that top 10 defense. They need to be able to hold teams under 100-yard rushing. If they do that, force gun quarterbacks like a Jordan Love into obvious past situations, um, then they can, you know, do those things that they did to Bryce Young in the second half with that dynamic secondary in the back, um, giving those guys time to get home to the quarterback. That's what they need to do. So my first key on defense is being able to stop the run. 154 yard is way too much. I know they can do better, and it's all about small things. I think now they got hit a couple times on blitzes on the run game. So it was a good game called by the Carolina Panthers because I think every time Ryan Nielsen called the blitz, um, the running back came right up under the linebacker was out of spot, out of place. So I thought it was just good calls on some of the runs that they had when they got out. But for the most part, they really did better in the second half in the run game. So I honestly, if you're looking at that first game, that first half, I just wash it away completely, and I look at what the Atlanta Falcons did in the second half, and um, that's the kind of team I think we can be. If we do that for 4 quarters from an offense standpoint, defense standpoint, I think we'll be really, really good. But my first key on defense is definitely being able to stop the run. They do that, get the opposing offense and third and long for those guys can rid their heads off and get to the quarterback. That's what we want to see. All right. Um, Second key is no explosive plays. I think explosive plays are always game changers for the other team, and you know one play in the game sometimes can cost you games. So we want to make them go to if they are going to drive the ball down the field, we want to make them do it the long way. Um, Kind of like the first drive that the Carolina Panthers had, right? They had that long drive, and then they decided it was so long they didn't want to come away with just a field goal, so they went for it on fourth down, and the Atlanta Falcons was able to stop them. So we want to make them go the long way, not explosive plays. So if we do that on the defensive side of the ball, trust me, that's going to be the key. So the second key on defense this week is to make them go the long way. Um, and then the third key is what I thought the Atlanta Falcons did pretty good. Um, on Sunday was get out the field on third down. Um, the Carolina Panthers only had four. I think they was like 4 for 12 on third down, something like that. So that was really good for our defense. We can continue to do that. Get out the field on third down. Get the ball back in the offense hand. That's what we need to do. Now, offense need to take advantage of it because going 2 for 10 on third down is just terrible. But if we can do that on the defense side of the ball, um, get out the field on third down. Those be the key. So that first key, guys, is make sure we stop the run. Second key, no explosive plays, and then the third key for this Atlanta Falcons against the Green Bay Packers this week is to make sure that we still continue our good, percentages getting off the field on third down. Those are the keys. And then one honorable mention, um, we have to be able to finish like we did last week. Got up, got to a 14-point lead, then we kind of reared our head back and was able to um, really start to attack, Bryce Young, and that's what you got to do with a young quarterback. And yes, right, Jordan Love been in the league 4 years, but he got less starts than Desmond Ritter do. So um, he still's a little raw. It is what it is. He's still a little green, so we can take advantage of that. You know, disguise the defenses, make him see things he don't see. Um, I think Jesse Bates going to make do that. I love the way Jesse Bates baited Bryce Young last week, and I think he can do it again against a young quarterback like Jordan Love. All right, let's get into some more comments before we get into the last team, which is special teams here. Let's see here what we got. Unsporter says, yep, 30 points. We already talked about that. Y'all hit that like button and follow. Yeah, thank you, man. I never really say that. But definitely, guys, please like and subscribe. Actually, go out and share this. If you on, X right now or something like that, go out and share this out to the masses out there. Let them know, come in and listen to my keys. I like love talking about the Falcons. I can talk about the Falcons all day, but definitely guys, like and share and subscribe, and more people come in and hear me talk about these Atlanta Falcons. The pits is being dotted. It's London open. I can't tell. Well, you know, I have to go back and actually, because I was looking at line of scrimmage a lot, right? So I can't really tell you how open um you know how open London was in the game. I know it's going to be a tough slide. It's probably tough sledding for him this week because he's going up against J.D. Alexander, and which is a really good corner. Jair Alexander. I don't know why that's his name, but really good corner. He's going up against him. But I think you know Drake London and Mac Hollins is big physical guys. I think they can kind of punk these. Now now Douglas is a veteran. You don't want to test Douglas that much because I think Rizzo Douglas definitely go and come get you. So there's really need to be really weary of him because he's a veteran, been in the league a long time, savvy cornerback. So, um, but between those two guys, I think the physicality of our receivers can really take advantage of those guys. Um, Ritter went 518. I know, man. He has the best quarterback rating going into week 2. So that's a positive. That's definitely a positive. Pitts was wide open. He broke. Yeah, man. He broke Jeremy Chin ankles too. That's when Desmond Ritter got sacked, man. That's just we got to be better than that. Yep. Give him game. He did let him know I'm in him. Yep. Yep. He sure did. I think everybody saw that play. One thing I would say that Bijan have to do though is tuck the that was because he's starting to go. These guys go after the ball. That fumble he had, man. I'm glad we recovered it, but that could have been a big play in the game. So um, that's really a big point right there that you made about protecting the ball. Something that Drake London had to learn last year as well. You know, these guys not gonna let you hold that ball like a loaf of bread. You got to tuck it high. One series in the preseason, quarterback go 15-18. We're not complaining, man. We're not complaining. We just telling you what we saw. That's it's not complaining. Trust me, I always see the glass half full, man. Believe me, I'm that guy. So I'm not complaining. I see Cordell Patterson working out. Say he's ready, looking like himself. Tyler, oh man, this adding CP to the mix is definitely going to be um going to really be good. Um, um, Matthew Bergeron played really good. He played really good, man. I think he was graded, by 65%, which is really good for a rookie. It's only gonna get better, but you can see he already understands what he need to do. He was actually getting up to the second level on blocks. He'll do his combo block with the center, and then he'll get up to the second level. So you gotta like what you've seen out of Matthew Bergeron. So um sky's the limit for that guy. I think he's gonna actually get even better. Like it just amazed, if you're looking at what Jalen Mayfield did, his first start compared to what Matthew Bergeron did. The Atlanta Falcons did a good job going up, up the draft, picking Matthew Bergeron. So he actually played really well for us. What we got here, seriously though, I wish we could reach out to Eric Bieniemy. Eric Bieniemy is the offensive coordinator for the Commanders. He's their offensive coordinator, so we do not have a chance to get him. Linebacker for sure was not filling the holes. That's 100% correct. Like I said, I think they got called a couple times on some blitzes, but that's definitely and this is really the key when he said about the linebacker because our defensive front is going to take double teams. So it's going to open up the lanes for our linebackers to make plays. So our linebackers got to fill those holes. They got to come up. Our strong safety. I thought D. Alford played well as well. Don't look at like you don't look at the stats because the passing game was not that prolific for the Carolina Panthers, but D. Alford played the run as well. He played really good. Him, Richie Grant, they all played good football. So I like what I saw out of our secondary as a whole. But the linebackers, yes, they have to fill the hole. Um, I need more man coverage. Maybe we get that with Jeff Okuda back. I don't think how much. I don't know how much they trusted Trey Flowers to do that last week. Um, Linebackers were flat-footed. Yeah, but one thing about our linebackers, they do get downhill. They really do. They get downhill. I like Caden Ellis and Troy Anderson. They do get downhill. They just need to be able to make sure that they don't overrun the play. Those cutback lanes are always going to be there because especially when you're running those zone plays, the cutback lane is always got better. So the linebackers got to stay home in their gaps to make sure they don't let the running back see that lane where he can cut back. With Jeff coming back, it will be more man. I agree. Yep. He got burnt twice. Trey Flowers got burnt twice. So I definitely can see more man coming. Um, Defense played well. Just need to stop the run better. Also didn't allow the cornerback. That finally I think we will click. Yes, I agree with you 100%. Our defense played really well, and I like our cornerback duo. Um, Standing there waiting for on runners. I thought they got downhill. I thought they filled the wrong hole, man, and they was trying to play catch up on the backside. That's what I saw. Jeff will be back more, man. Yep. I have Kyle and Drake Younger being the X route, so they can be wide open. There you go. I like that prediction. Ellis and Anderson got to tighten up. Need more. Like I said, we need to more about the linebackers. Our linebackers is going to be key in this season because of our defensive front. Yes, that was terrible. 2 for 10 on third down was terrible. Um, which one? They ran a lot of pressures in that second half, man, especially in that fourth quarter. It seemed like they was being too patient in the first half. Like they was scared to attack Bryce Young. Bates can do that too. Yeah, safety blitz. I agree. Definitely safety blitz. And the last comment here is your boy Ricondo. That's right, man. I love it. When I did that, I was just talking one day, and then my son actually said he liked it, so I just kept doing it, and now, no, that's my thing. So that's what I go. That's why I go with the video every time. All right, guys, get into the last keys. It's the special team keys. Um, you know, eh, you already know my first key is definitely field position, field position game. I thought the Atlanta Falcons played the field position game very well Sunday because going 2 for 10, putting those guys in good field position, we was able to make sure that they didn't get the ball in good spaces so the offense had to drive down the field. So that was a good thing. So first key on special teams, always. Um, I don't think it'll change for me. Definitely be, create field position, get first downs on in the receiving game if you can, and on the defensive side, on the kicking side, you make sure you pin them deep. That's what you want to do, so they have the long way to go on special teams. The second key on special teams is CP's coming back. Let's see, can we get a big explosive return? In the kicking game. So let's see can they make that happen. Create a turnover and kicking game. I think you know sometimes in games like this, um, two good teams playing against each other, special teams could definitely be a factor. So big play on the special teams, and don't give up a big play, of course. Definitely can go a long way for us. So special teams is a big play. And guys, those are my two keys on the for special team standpoint for this week. Um, Field position and let's get a big play either way, kicking game or receiving game. Kicker was kicker ball champion. Oh, cool. What do we see different about the offense with CP8 coming back? I think he's going to play. Um, I think they can line CP up anywhere. That's the crazy part about it because he came in lead as a receiver. Um, he can be out wide. He can be in the slot. He can be in the backfield. He can do so much, man. So it's really gonna be interesting how they utilize Cardell Patterson this week. Um, and I'm just going to say it, man. I'm just going to say it. I feel bad for the defensive backfield. Trying to tackle those three guys, man, and they coming downhill. That's not what you want. That's not what you. And like you said, and just like Anderson said, Joker, right? That's right. He's playing that Joker position. So um, I don't know, man. It what's really interesting about this team, which we got so many weapons. I'm like, how can you get all of them involved into the game, right? It's just it's a good problem to have. Um, but I guess when you're going into a weak game plan, do you try to scheme everybody, or do you have a game plan where you're just going to focus on certain guys this week? You see they're going to get the ball. Of course, when you're a quarterback, and if you playing the right way, you know you go where the defense takes you. That's really how it's supposed to be. That's how it should be. You should go. You shouldn't try to force anything. We don't want them to force the ball to our weapons, but we want Arthur Smith to scheme them open. That's what we want. So, and then the ball will find mismatches. That's what you want. So, um, but we'll see what happens. He says fullback and give him the rock. Put him at fullback, man. He can do that too. He's a joker. You can put him anywhere. The film from last game not really good help for Green Bay at all, at all. They have no clue how to prepare for the Atlanta Falcons. Well, we know that their plan is to try to stop Bijan and Tyler. But the fact that those guys was only two involved in the game last week, it's I think it's an advantage to the Atlanta Falcons. So um, I agree. They have no film really to go off of from an offensive standpoint. They don't know how to play our offense because our offense is so um, left so much with what how Prime Time said, left so much meat on the bone. So um, that's what happened this week. He says when we show the whole scheme, everyone will be open. Yes, open it up, man. So I'm gonna end this. I'm gonna end this, guys. But I do want to say this because I kind of went off on the tangent about Arthur Smith and things like that. I do believe Arthur Smith. I do believe he's a really good offensive coordinator. Like I said, what he was able to do with the Tennessee Titans, he had of course he had Derrick Henry, but he just put B. John, CP, and Tyler. That's Derrick Henry, probably a little bit better than even what Derrick Henry was in Tennessee. And then you put Kyle Pitts, Drake London, and all those guys. He has more weapons in Atlanta, so I think he has the ability to definitely make things happen. Um, So, like I wanted to say that we're not going to overreact after one game, but we want to see improvement, and really, that's what you want to see each week. Making those stepping stones, getting better and better. Um, it would have been crazy for our Atlanta Falcons after playing, just 19 snaps to come out and be hitting on all cylinders. I didn't expect that. I will admit that I didn't expect what we saw, but I do understand that, not coming out being in 100% rhythm is understandable, for week one. And at the same time, not really understanding, what Carolina Panthers scheme was because they had a new defensive coordinator, a new coaching staff. So we're going to give them a break this week. But going into Green Bay, the things that you want to see improvements are the things that they didn't do well in week one. That's what we need to see. I'm still harping on they definitely need to get the ball to our playmakers. So I'm gonna end by saying my breakout players for this game um, is Kyle Pitts and Drake London. So that's what I'm going with. That's really what I'm going with. I want to see Kyle Pitts and Drake London be the breakout players for this game. If we do that, um, the Falcons will come away with a W. I think our defense is good enough to put enough pressure on the green young quarterback in Jordan Love. Um, I think we might get a break this week because I don't think Aaron Jones is going to play. So if that happens, that's definitely going to help the Atlanta Falcons a lot because we'll have to worry about him this week. But the Atlanta Falcons need to prepare for everybody, get ready to go. Once again, I'm definitely saying all the fans that's going to be at the game, come be loud. We know the Cheesehead is going to be out there. That's one of the traditional, legendary franchises in the NFL. So their fans do travel. So we want to make sure that we come in, we loud, just like we was on Sunday, and support our Atlanta Falcons. Guys, that's all I have. This is your boy Ricondo coming back at you with another video. Peace.